Hi friends, I'm Jeffy G. UAD just announced Topline Voice, a vocal effects processor. And at first, I thought this is a good idea. I've used UAD plugins for a long time and I think they're great. They're essential in my studio. I can't afford to buy some of the hardware they emulate. I've used them extensively in my vocal chain. And that's been a combination of using the UA console on the way in, but also mixing within my DAW. When I see the release of this UAD Topline Vocal Suite, I'm thinking, is this built upon the same technology and emulations that are in the plugins? Is this something new? Does it replace a lot of the plugins that I already use? So a quick scan of some of the reviews that are out there so far. Some people are saying, this is all you really need. Well, I'm skeptical about that. Let's take a look at what's in Topline. I've got the Topline Vocal Suite open here, and I want to get through this as efficiently as possible so that you can make a decision on whether this is useful to you or not, and then we can get on to the more appropriate topics of what's the verdict. Does it deliver what's promised? It's divided into sections. The first section is all about tuner and shift and managing pitch. The second section is all about dynamics and channel strip functionality and EQ. And the third section over here is all about live effects. On the left, you've got input control, input gain, and output gain, which you can use to gain match. Now for this first section on the tuner, we need to determine what key we're tuning to. If we listen to a bit of this vocal, if I'm out tonight, I'll see you. You can see that the tuner is picking up on the notes, but we don't necessarily know what key this is in. So one option is to fire up Topline Key Finder, and it has a listen mode. Play the song. If I'm out tonight, I'll see you. Will I see you? And it's done its best to determine that these are the notes in the scale that are being sung, and therefore it's in D major is the best fit. B minor, secondarily G major, and C. Now you can send that information from the key finder into Topline. Now the pitch control is going to make all of its note adjustments based on the assumption that the right key is D major. Then the speed and depth are just two of the variables that you control, as you would on any pitch correction, how quickly the pitch correction responds and how deep that pitch change is. Is it significant or is it subtle? Then over to the shift capability, you could pick a shift in pitch. Let's just lower this by 1/3 and leave the Formant where it is. And this dial at the bottom will control the mix. If I'm out tonight, I'll see you. Will I see you? There's the third. And there's the source. 'Cause I'll be out there tonight. I'll be feeling alright. So let's say I reduce the Formant. It's going to sound a little bit different. If I'm out tonight, I'll see you. More like a male voice. Will I see you? There's also a switch here for live versus mixing. My understanding is that on the live setting, it minimizes latency of this particular plugin. On mixing, there's a little bit more latency, but it's more accurate. And my question is, well, why wouldn't you always just use live? Also, there's this notion that you would use this plugin for a live purpose. Let's switch to the middle section and let's pick a channel. I'm going to go with vintage, assuming that I'm using something like a Neve channel strip, and I can increase the warmth or color I would get out of that channel strip. And then on the compressor, I'm going to choose tight, and I can increase the amount of compression. And then over on the EQ, I can choose a particular type of EQ, and I can make adjustments, pulling in a low high-pass filter, and I can make some subtle changes to the sound of that EQ by dragging these little lines. I also have a choice of whether to feed the dynamics into the EQ or the other way around, have the EQ feed into the dynamics. And each one of these things can be turned off or on. You'll see there's a button on each one. So if you just want to use the channel strip or just the dynamics or just the EQ, what you want to hear. Now the last thing down here is air, which adds high frequency to accentuate the vocals with commonly been known as headroom. Now I can turn off all the effects with just clicking on this button. If I'm out tonight, I'll see you. And here's what it sounds like when I turn on the vocal suite. 'Cause I'll be out there tonight.
I'll be feeling alright. See you tonight, I'll see you tonight.
The last section are the real-time effects. And by default, this preset came up with chorus. I can control the intensity of the chorus closer in. You can see it's less intense, further out, makes a bigger difference. I've got delay, and I've got all the standard settings. The timing of this controls the amount of feedback of the delay. And I've got different styles, digital, studio tape, or cassette. And I've got reverb. And down below, I've got mix knobs for each one of these things. So as I play the vocal, I can adjust.
If I'm out tonight, I'll see you. Will I see you? 'Cause I'll be out there tonight. I'll be feeling alright. See you tonight, I'll see you tonight. I'll see you tonight. And it's alright, baby. It's alright, I will see you, baby. You see you tonight.
Customized every section within the plugin, and we can hear what the overall sound difference is.
If I'm out tonight, I'll see you. Will I see you? 'Cause I'll be out there tonight. I'll be feeling alright. See you tonight, I'll see you tonight. I'll see you tonight.
I think there's an audience for this. There are some of us who've been producing music for a long time, and we've got all of our favorite plugins and effects that we use, but having it all in one suite really appeals to the beginner. It simplifies your choices, it gives you some logical representation of how things work together. Just jumping into some of the other features, when you've selected a preset, and the presets appear here on the left. If I go back to all and turn off the favorites star, I get to see about 170 different presets. You could have a custom scale. You click on custom and pick all the notes that are going to be acceptable in that scale. Then the pitch adjustment is going to move to the nearest note. One of these doesn't do the trick for you. Got a really unusual scale. You can actually turn on custom and customize that scale for yourself. Another interesting feature is that when you turn on the bypass, if you hold down the option button and turn it back on, it will reset most of the settings back to the original of the preset. In the second section, especially this area for selecting an emulation of a channel strip, the degree of color that you're adding depends on the preset that you're picking here. Each one of these is modeled after a particular sound. The solid state settings are modeled after a British solid-state preamp, and the tube settings are modeled after an American tube console circuit. They've simplified the process of capturing the effects of a channel strip in this one analog module with just 2 dials. Similarly with the dynamics, simplified compression with just 1 dial and different compression types. And on the outsides of that, of course, you could increase the de-esser, turn it off or on, and you can increase the amount of gate if you've got a lot of background noise that's being picked up. What's this FX duck? Well, on a vocal track, you may want to have some ducking to take out the reverb and delay when the vocalist is singing strong. As you turn up the ducking, you get more of the vocals coming through, less muddied by delay and reverb, and then the delay and reverb comes in at the end of every phrase that someone is singing. Now, multi-effects units have been around for a little while. All the major vendors have them, and I believe they're popular. For me personally, I've been caught up in using different vocal effects from different vendors depending on their strength. And I recently bought that Isotope Production Suite 6 and have a video on that which you can watch. It's linked up above and there's a link included in the description. Let's just go through a few other examples.
Girl, close your eyes. Let that rhythm get into you.
Here it is with Topline turned on and the preset basic verby female vocal.
Girl, close your eyes. Let that rhythm get into you. Don't try to fight it. There ain't nothing that you can do.
Here's a male rap.
Sounds so soulful, don't you agree? Oh! I invented sweat. Popping bottles, putting supermodels in the cab. Proof. I guess I got my swagger back. Truth, new watch alert, Hugh blows, Or the big face rollie, I got two of those. Arm out the window through the city, I maneuver slow. Cock back, snap back, see my cut through the holes. Wham, Yeezy and Hove, where the hell you been?
Here's more of a rock example.
I got my first real 6-string, bought it out for 5 and dime. Played it till my fingers bled. Was the summer of '69. Me and some guys from school had a band and we tried real hard.
When I first fired up the Topline Vocal Suite, I thought I was dealing with a multi-effects unit, but I quickly realized all the capabilities that this plugin really has. In particular, there were things that stood out for me. The analog component, which emulates a channel strip and lets you control the degree of color. The options for different compression type, and the EQ. Those components make it uniquely qualified for everything you need to control vocals. Then there are some neat enhancements like the air effect, where you can turn up the degree of high frequencies, and the FX duck, which is really masking to reduce the effects of the reverb and the delay. This is kind of a combination of all the things you might do in your vocal chain processing. Now the big question is, does it replace traditional plugins in your vocal chain? Well, if you want greater flexibility, you're probably still going to use full-fledged plugins. For most people, this is going to do everything that you need to make your vocals sound expert and professional. There were a couple areas where I thought it fell short. One was on the EQ side. Now in my typical vocal chain, I'm going to have two EQs. One that minimizes disturbing frequencies and one that enhances the tonal quality of my vocals. So does it live up to the promise? Is there effortless tuning for any genre? Yes, I would have to say yes. Can you record with album quality results? I'd have to say yes again. Does it deliver on those powerful pitch and formant capabilities? For sure. Is it easy to create a good vocal chain with a certain amount of speed? Yeah, I would say this is definitely an easy way to go about it. There are a number of claims, of course, on the website, and based on my assessment, I would say it lives up to all of those claims.
I'm curious what you think. Is there room in the market for UAD to have a vocal multi-effects unit, or does it overlap with what other vendors have already been providing? Put your ideas in the comments and let me know what you think. If this video is useful to you, click on the like button, consider subscribing to the channel. It keeps me going, and it's a way for me to connect with my audience. Thanks for watching.